Aguilar? He's right over there.
Yeah, good to see you, brother.
How do you feel about the United States' reaction to the Egyptian uprising? Do you have any concern that the U.S. foreign policy will resemble the suppression of national liberation movements in the mid-20th century?
Wonderful question. Very good question. I alluded to our precious brothers and sisters in Egypt right now. It's the same thing about Tunisia. Anytime you have that kind of expression of unbelievable courage, willingness to die in the name of not just an ideal of democracy, but in the name of a love for fellow persons and fellow citizens, one cannot but be profoundly inspired. And the United States finds itself, the United States running the empire. The United States is two things, right? It's an experiment in self-government and it's an empire at the same time. You have to keep both ideas in your mind at the same time. You got self-government, but then 1890s Philippines, empire. Indigenous peoples, 1830, empire. And we now have what? About 800 military installments all around the world. We've got a ship in every ocean. And our military spending is more than all of the nations of the world combined. Second is China, we got 65 billion. Ours about 800 billion. So it's just so far beyond in terms of military power. People say, oh, why do you call it an empire? Well, what would you call it? It's a country with a lot of power. But it's a distinctive kind of empire. Not like the British Empire, not like the French Empire, not like the Dutch Empire. It's informal. And because we have anti-colonial roots, we rebelled against the British Empire to become a democratic experiment. It's unsettling to our self-understanding. That's why we get so much of the American exceptionalist rhetoric. Over and over and over again. Anytime you have a big problem. But we are Americans. We can solve any problem. You've been looking at these problems for a long time. You haven't solved it yet. But we are America. America's, God smiles on us. Winks on us. God's been asleep for a long time in terms of some of these crises out here. No. What has made America great relative to democratic ideals and ideals of freedom is the courage of the citizens who were willing to keep it democratic or free up to expanding. Once you get a courage deficit, you get a democratic deficit. And in regard to the Middle East, the American empire is very clear. America has made no major moves to democratize Egypt because of our imperial interests. Our national security interest is the oil on the one hand and its relation to our Jewish brothers and sisters in Israel on the other hand. If Egypt only had artichokes as opposed to oil, do you think our policy would be the same? In terms of the Suez Canal coming through with the oil? If Egypt had not made the treaty with Israel in 1979, do you think our attitude would still be the same? No, we opted for that kind of strategic advantage and put up with the barbarism, the repression, the authoritarian rule for 30 years of just one person. We're not even talking about. So what happens is America gets caught. Well, we've had our friends for 30 years, but we want to at least our peers if we support democratic rule. And you look at the juxtaposition of Hugo Chavez versus Mubarak. They call Chavez a dictator. He's been elected 3 times and had 2 referendums. But they won't call Mubarak a dictator. And Brother Biden said he wasn't a dictator explicitly. Just like Sister Clinton said it's a stable regime just a few weeks ago. No, that's the key sweat moment. Something just ain't right. Something just ain't right. No, America got caught now. The emperor has no clothes in this regard. That's a serious situation. We don't want our Jewish brothers and sisters to be slaughtered. Israel is still a very serious issue. But at the same time, they can't occupy Palestinian brothers and sisters. Occupation of any people is wrong and illegal and immoral. I agree with any policy that gives security to Jewish brothers and sisters. Why? Because I look at the world from the vantage point of those catching hell. Jewish folk been catching hell for a long time, even when they think they're top dogs. They can still be threatened. but that security must go hand in hand with justice for Palestinians or anybody else. And U.S. foreign policy has not been putting the premium on justice, Palestinian justice for Arabs and a host of others. Many of us have been calling for critiques of autocratic rule, authoritarian rule of Arab leaders for decades. I mean, we marched against Saddam Hussein in 1979 because we knew he was installed by the CIA. We didn't know that 30 years later, or 25 years later, he'd be on the FBI most wanted list. That's quite a journey, isn't it? Being installed by the U.S. CIA and end up on the U.S. FBI most wanted list. Sounds like Noriega. America has its own gangsters. And when the gangsters no longer useful, chew them up and spit them out. Mubarak is about to get chewed up and spit out unless he wins with more crypto-fascist attacks on our brothers and sisters in Egypt. If Mubarak wins, then the White House will say, you see, Brother West, you were calling for us to support the people in the street, and we have to still deal with Mubarak because he has now wiped them out and pushed all the leaders into jail, and we still therefore have access. I said, well, that's your diplomatic play. That's not my calling. That's not my calling. I want to bear witness to the truth. And I'm crying for the Egyptian brothers and sisters who've been shut down like dogs by the Mubarak army. I'm crying for the folk in jail. And when you hear me on the internet, that's what I'm going to be highlighting. They say, that's irresponsible, Brother West. You don't understand. We have diplomatic interests. No, that's not irresponsible at all. That's you having to deal with your imperial project. And I'm critical of the immoral aspects of that project. And we need to have that public discussion in love. And I love Barack Obama. I do. I work with brother 65 years friends. I want to. Oh, I know. I want to protect the brother. People trying to kill him. We got some serious right-wing folk out here trying to kill him and a whole lot of others of us. I want to respect the brother. He's a human being. He's a citizen. He's my dear black brother. Sister Michelle is my dear sister. The two babies, precious like any other babies. Not just protect and respect, I want to correct him. Because when he signs toward Wall Street, he needs correction. When he signs toward corporate elites, he needs correction. When he has a more intimate connection with the Daily Machine in Chicago, he needs correction. And black folk, oh, we've been AWOL.